The monitors beeped in rhythm with my screams. 14 hours. 14 hours of labor. And the only hand I held was the nurse's. My phone sat on the table, dark and silent. 11 missed calls. 17 texts begging him to come. And then, ding. I'm done. Divorce papers coming. Sign them. While I pushed our daughter into the world, Alex raised a champagne glass in a downtown bar, his arm around another woman's waist, posting for the whole world to see. The caption? Finally free. I held my newborn daughter against my chest, her tiny fingers wrapped around mine, and I whispered 5 words that would change everything. He has no idea who I am. Have you ever been underestimated by someone who thought they knew your worth? Drop a comment below, because this story is about to show you what happens when a man mistakes silence for weakness. And before we dive in, hit that like button if you believe karma always finds its way home. Let me take you back 18 months. The coffee shop on Madison Avenue smelled like cinnamon and new possibilities. I was reading a book on behavioral economics when a shadow fell across my table. Is this seat taken? Alex Hartwell, 6'2", navy suit that cost more than most people's monthly rent, smile that could sell ice to penguins, tech entrepreneur, self-made millionaire at 29. Or so he told everyone. It's all yours, I said, barely looking up. He didn't just sit. He performed, ordered the most expensive drink, name-dropped 3 venture capitalists, and somehow made it seem charming instead of obnoxious. What's a girl like you doing alone on a Friday night? He asked. I finally closed my book. Reading, thinking, existing without needing someone else to validate it. He laughed. Actually laughed. I like you already. I'm Alex. Mia. No last name. Never the last name. See, here's what Alex didn't know. What I never told him even after we started dating. My full name is Mia Evangeline Whitmore. My father, Desmond Whitmore, controls a private equity empire worth $8 billion. He owns pieces of everything: tech startups, real estate, pharmaceutical companies, media conglomerates. But when I turned 18, Dad made me a deal. Baby girl, he'd said. Sitting in his study surrounded by leather-bound books and oil paintings of our ancestors, I can give you everything, or I can give you nothing and let you become everything. Your choice. I chose nothing. Well, not nothing. He paid for college, Princeton, full ride. But after graduation, I was on my own. Entry-level marketing job. Tiny apartment in Brooklyn with 3 roommates. Student loans I had to manage myself. If you can build a life without my name, without my money, you'll know who you really are, Dad had said. And more importantly, you'll know who truly loves you. At 26, I'd done it. Paid off 6 figures in student debt in under 2 years through smart investments and brutal budgeting. Climbed to senior strategist at a mid-tier firm. Built something real. And then I met Alex. He pursued me like I was the last woman on earth. Flowers every Tuesday. Surprise weekend trips to the Hamptons. Fancy dinners where he'd order for both of us because he knew what I'd like. I should have seen the red flags then. The way he'd talk over me in groups. How he'd introduce me as my girlfriend, but never by name. The subtle comments about my cute little job and adorable apartment. But I was lonely, and he was persistent. And some stupid part of me thought I could love him into being better. 6 months in, he proposed. Not intimate, not personal. He did it at his company's annual gala, in front of 200 people, with a ring I later found out cost less than my monthly contribution to our joint savings. The crowd erupted in applause. Cameras flashed. I said yes because saying no would have humiliated him. I should have said no. The wedding was everything Alex wanted. Big. Showy. His guest list dominated. My side? Dad came alone, dressed in an off-the-rack suit I bought him as a joke years ago. He played his role perfectly. Proud father, modest background, grateful his daughter found such a successful man. Alex never questioned it. Never asked why I'd paid off my loan so fast. Never wondered about my education or connections. He was too busy talking about himself. My company's about to explode, he'd say at dinner parties, 4th drink in hand. We're developing an app that's going to revolutionize data analytics for mid-sized businesses. Venture capitalists are throwing money at us. I'd smile, nod, pour more wine. The cracks started showing during the pregnancy. Month 3, I got morning sickness during a meeting and had to run to the bathroom. When I came home, Alex was on the couch, laptop balanced on his knees. "You embarrassed me today," he said without looking up. My colleague called, said you made a scene at the office. I was throwing up. "Alex, I'm growing a human." "Yeah, well, maybe manage it better. I have a reputation." Month 5, my body started changing. Normal pregnancy stuff. Rounder belly, fuller face, swollen feet. I felt beautiful, powerful, like my body was doing something miraculous. Alex felt differently. "You planning to work out at all?" he asked one morning. "Eye me in the mirror. Or just let yourself go completely?" I froze, toothbrush in hand. "Excuse me? I'm just saying, some women stay fit during pregnancy. You're not even trying." "I'm literally creating internal organs for another person right now, Alex." He shrugged. "I'm just being honest. You asked me to always be honest." I never asked him that. Her name was Lauren Kincaid, VP of Business Development at some boutique consulting firm. Blonde, ambitious, the kind of woman who wore designer heels to casual brunches and posted motivational quotes about boss babes on social media. I first noticed her at Alex's company holiday party, month 7 of my pregnancy. I was wearing the only dress that still fit, feeling like a whale in a room full of gazelles. Lauren glided over, martini in hand, eyes on my husband. "Alex," she purred, touching his arm just a fraction too long. "That presentation today was brilliant. You're going to change the industry." He practically glowed. "Just doing what I do best." She glanced at me, at my belly, and her smile sharpened. "You must be so proud of him." "Every day," I said flatly. When I went to the bathroom, I passed a hallway and heard voices. Alex and Lauren tucked near the coat check. "Can't imagine how hard it must be," she was saying, "being tied down so young." "It's not what I planned," Alex replied. "But you make the best of it, right?" My hand rested on my belly. Our daughter kicked. I kept walking. Month 8, Alex started coming home late. "Investor meetings," he'd say. "You wouldn't understand the pressure I'm under." I was working full-time until week 38, managing clients, preparing for maternity leave, nesting for a baby. But sure, I wouldn't understand pressure. He stopped touching me, stopped asking how I felt, stopped pretending he cared. One night, I found him texting on the balcony, smiling at his phone in a way he hadn't smiled at me in months. "Who's that?" I asked. He locked the screen. "Just work." At 11 p.m.? "Mia, I don't interrogate you about every little thing. Give me the same respect." Respect. That word, from a man who called me lazy for needing naps while growing his child. Week 39, contraction started. Braxton Hicks, the doctor said. False labor. But they felt real enough that I called Alex. Panicked. "I'm in a meeting," he snapped. "Can this wait?" "I think the baby's coming." Heavy sigh. "You said that last week. Call me when you're actually in labor." He hung up. I sat on our bathroom floor, breathing through the pain, alone. Real labor started at 3 a.m. on a Tuesday. I woke to my water breaking. Contractions 6 minutes apart. I called Alex. Voicemail. Called again. Voicemail. Texted. "Baby coming. Need you now." Nothing. I called an ambulance. Rode alone to the hospital. Gripping the rails as waves of pain crashed through me. The EMT, a kind woman named Patrice with gentle hands, held my hand. "Where's your husband, honey?" she asked. "Good question," I whispered. At the hospital, they checked me in. 7 centimeters dilated. Moving fast. I called Alex 11 more times between contractions. Texted 17 times. "Please, I need you." "Where are you?" "Our daughter is coming." "Don't do this to me. Not today." Hour 6. A nurse named Geneva sat with me. "Sweetheart, is there anyone else we can call? Family? Friends?" I thought about Dad. One call, and he'd be on his helicopter, landing on the hospital roof within an hour. But I'd made this choice. Married this man. I had to see it through. No, I whispered. Just me. Hour 14, I was screaming, delirious, broken. And that's when my phone buzzed. Not a call. A text. From Alex. I made the nurse read it to me between contractions. I'm done. Divorce papers coming. Sign them. Geneva's face went pale. Honey, I don't think. Read the rest. I gasped. She scrolled. Her jaw tightened. She turned the phone toward me. A photo. Alex and Lauren at some upscale bar, his arm around her waist, both holding champagne, huge smiles. Posted 15 minutes ago. Caption. Finally free. New chapter starts now. Bottle with popping cork. The final push came on a scream that wasn't just about labor. It was rage. It was heartbreak. It was every lie, every insult, every moment of being made to feel small. And then, a cry. Tiny, fierce, perfect. It's a girl, Geneva whispered, tears streaming down her face as she placed my daughter on my chest. Ophelia. I'd chosen the name months ago, after Shakespeare's tragic heroine, but my Ophelia would get a different ending. I held her, the 7-pound miracle with my nose and Alex's stubborn chin, and I whispered into her downy hair. He has no idea who I am, but he's about to find out. They let me sleep for 4 hours. When I woke, Ophelia was in a bassinet beside me, swaddled in pink, perfect and peaceful, and Alex was in the doorway, not sheepish, not apologetic, annoyed. We need to talk, he said, not even glancing at his daughter. I stared at him. This man I'd married. This stranger. Get out, I said quietly. Mia, be reasonable. This doesn't have to be ugly. You posted a photo with your mistress while I was in labor. You texted me divorce papers while I was pushing out your child. And you want to talk about reasonable? He sighed like I was being difficult. Lauren and I, look, it just happened. We have a connection. Something real. You and I, we were never right. You know that. Do I? Come on. You're a nice girl, but you don't have ambition. You don't push me to be better. Lauren gets the entrepreneurial life. She's been helping with the company, actually contributing. Get out. He pulled an envelope from his jacket. Just sign these. I'll give you child support. Obviously, the legal minimum. My company's about to close the biggest deal we've ever had. I'm set for life. But you and the kid, you'll be fine. You're resourceful. He dropped the envelope on the bedside table. And then he looked at Ophelia for the first time. She's cute, he said, like commenting on a puppy. Looks like you. Hopefully she'll be smarter. I wanted to scream, to throw something, to hurt him the way he'd hurt me. Instead, I smiled. You're right about one thing, Alex. Your company is about to change your life forever. Just not the way you think. He frowned. What's that supposed to mean? You'll see. He left. Just walked out. Didn't even close the door properly. Geneva came in moments later. Honey, I'm so sorry. That man is... a mistake. I finished. But mistakes can be corrected. I picked up my phone. Stared at the number I hadn't called in 8 months. Dad had rules. I'd made my choice to be independent. Calling him now meant admitting I'd failed. But I hadn't failed. I'd survived. I'd built a life. And now I was protecting my daughter from a man who'd only teach her that she was worthless. I pressed call. He answered on the first ring. Mia. God, his voice. Steady. Safe. Home. Dad. I whispered and my voice cracked. I need you. Silence. Then, tell me everything, sweetheart. So I did. Dad arrived 6 hours later. No helicopter. No fanfare. He walked into my hospital room looking like exactly what Alex thought he was, a regular father in off-the-rack clothes, carrying flowers from the hospital gift shop. But his eyes, when they landed on Ophelia, turned molten. My granddaughter, he breathed, and I watched this man who'd brokered billion-dollar deals dissolve into tears as he held her. After visiting hours, we talked. I told him everything. The insults, the abandonment, The mistress. The divorce papers. Dad listened without interrupting. When I finished, he asked one question. What's the company name? Synergy Core Analytics. Why? He smiled. Not warm. Shark-like. Because, baby girl, I'm about to teach your husband about consequences. Dad, what? Do you trust me? Always. Then rest. Heal. Be a mother. I'll handle the rest. He kissed my forehead and left. I should have felt relief. Instead, I felt something sharper. Anticipation. I learned this part later, from people who were there. Alex took Lauren to 11 Madison Park that night. $300 per person tasting menu. He ordered the wine pairing, proposed a toast. To new beginnings, he said, clinking her glass. To finally being with someone who understands me. Lauren leaned in, kissed him across the table. Your wife must be miserable right now. Ex-wife, Alex corrected. Or she will be, once she signs. And honestly, she'll be fine. She's tough in a boring, martyr kind of way. She'll get some tiny apartment, raise a kid, maybe meet some middle manager type who thinks she's a catch. They laughed. And you, Lauren purred, running a finger down his tie, will be running $100 million company. My brilliant CO. $100 million is just a start, Alex said. This deal we're closing? It's going to triple our valuation. I'm talking private jets, baby. Real wealth. He had no idea that across town, in a corner office in Midtown, my father was on his 5th phone call of the evening, activating shell companies, mobilizing silent partners, calling in favors from hedge fund managers and sovereign wealth representatives who owed him their careers. By midnight, Dad controlled 47% of Synergy Core Analytics. By 4 a.m., he owned 51%. Alex slept soundly. Lauren curled beside him in his king-size bed, dreaming of empires. He woke up to a text from his COO. Emergency board meeting. 9 a.m. mandatory. No exceptions. Alex strutted into the conference room at 8:57 a.m., medium coffee in hand, $1,000 suit fresh from the dry cleaner. The board was already seated. All 8 members, plus 2 empty chairs at the head of the table. Morning, everyone, Alex said, flashing his winning smile. What's the emergency? The deal fall through? His COO, Brennan, looked pale. Alex, just sit down. Why? What's going on? The door opened. My father walked in, still in that modest suit, still looking unremarkable, except for his eyes. Alex frowned. Who's this? Did someone bring their accountant? Sit down, Mr. Hartwell, Dad said quietly. I'm sorry, who are you? This is a private board meeting. My name is Desmond Whitmore, and as of 4 a.m. this morning, I own 51% of this company, which makes this my board meeting. So I'll say it once more. Sit down. The color drained from Alex's face. That's impossible. Those shares aren't for sale. We have anti-takeover provisions, which don't apply when shareholders sell their own free will, Dad said, settling into the chair at the head of the table. Turns out, when you make a compelling enough offer, people are willing to part with almost anything, even their principles. Alex looked around the table. Every board member avoided his eyes. Brennan, Alex said desperately, you sold? After everything we built? Brennan stared at his hands. He offered me 4 times market value. Alex, I have 3 kids in college. I couldn't say no. But why? Alex turned to Dad. Why would you do this? What do you want? Money? I can raise. I don't want money, Mr. Hartwell. I have more money than I could spend in 10 lifetimes. Dad leaned back casual. I want justice. Justice for what? I don't even know you. But you know my daughter. Silence. Alex's face went from confused to panic to comprehending in 3 seconds flat. Wait, Mia? Mia's your daughter. Yes, Mia Evangeline Whitmore. The woman you abandoned while she was in labor with your child. The woman you called lazy, unambitious, worthless. The woman you divorced via text message while she was screaming in a hospital bed. Alex stumbled backward. I didn't know. She never said. She didn't have to. She chose to build a life without my name, without my money, to see if someone could love her for who she is, not what she's worth. Dad's voice turned to ice. You failed that test spectacularly. Mr. Whitmore, we can fix this. I'll apologize. I'll go back to her. Too late. Dad opened a folder, slid a paper across the table. This is your termination notice. Effective immediately. You're fired, Mr. Hartwell, from the company you founded. Alex grabbed the paper, hands shaking. You can't do this. I'm the CEO. I built this from nothing. And I bought it. Legally. Completely. You'll receive the minimum severance package required by law, which, amusingly, is about what you offer my daughter in child support. Poetic, don't you think? This is insane. I'll sue. I'll fight this. With what money? Your shares are now worthless. Your reputation in the industry? I've made calls. You're blacklisted. Every venture capitalist, every investor, every hiring manager in tech, they know what you did. Dad stood. You wanted freedom, Mr. Hartwell. Congratulations. You're free of everything. Alex turned to board, wild-eyed. Someone back me up here. This is a coup. This is... The door opened again. Lauren walked in. She'd been waiting in the hall, per Alex's request, so they could celebrate together after the meeting. She took one look at the room, at Alex's face, at my father's cold smile. What's going on? She asked. Your boyfriend just lost everything, Dad said pleasantly. His company, his money, his future. I hope you were with him for more than his prospects, Miss Kincaid, because he's got nothing left. Lauren's face went white, then red, then calculating. She looked at Alex like he'd tricked her. She stepped backward. I didn't sign up for this drama. Lauren, Alex reached for her. She jerked away. I thought you were smart. I thought you had your life together. You told me you were about to be worth millions. I am. This is just a disaster. This is a disaster. She looked around the room, composing herself, switching to damage control. For the record, I had no idea about any of this. His personal life, his wife, sorry, ex-wife, none of my business. I was just helping with business development. She walked out, paused at the door, turned back. Oh, and Alex? We're done. I don't date failures. She left him standing there, humiliated, in front of the entire board. Beautiful. Dad dismantled Alex's life with surgical precision over the next 4 weeks. The apartment Alex rented, owned by a subsidiary of one of Dad's companies. Eviction notice served. The car lease, terminated. The country club membership, the gym, the exclusive networking groups, all quietly revoked. Alex tried reaching out to old contacts, old investors. Every door closed. Every call went unreturned. Meanwhile, I recovered in a penthouse apartment Dad had owned for years, held in trust, never used, just sitting there collecting dust and value. He signed it over to me. For you and Ophelia, he said. No strings. It's yours. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Central Park. 3 bedrooms. A nursery painted soft yellow, filled with everything a baby could need. I should have felt guilty. Should have felt like I was taking the easy way out. But you know what I felt? Safe. For the first time in 18 months, I felt safe. Dad hired a night nurse so I could sleep. A chef who prepared healthy meals and left them in labeled containers. A lawyer, the best in New York, to handle the divorce. Take nothing from him. I told the lawyer, a sharp woman named Vivian, I don't want his money. You're entitled to... I know what I'm entitled to. I wanted to have exactly what he offered me. The legal minimum. No more, no less. Vivian smiled. I like you. The divorce went through in record time. Alex signed everything, probably hoping cooperation might earn him mercy. It didn't. 6 weeks after Ophelia's birth, someone knocked on my apartment door. It was raining. That miserable October rain that feels personal. I checked the video intercom. Alex stood in the hallway, soaking wet, holding a gas station bouquet of wilted carnations. I almost didn't open the door, but I wanted him to see it, see what he'd lost. I opened the door in designer loungewear, hair done, makeup light, but perfect. Ophelia was napping in her $1,000 smart bassinet behind me. The apartment gleamed. Alex looked like he'd been sleeping in his car, which I later learned he had been. "Mia," he said, voice broken. "Please, I need to talk to you." "No, please. 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking." I checked my watch. For minutes, clock's ticking. He stepped inside, dripping on my marble floor. "I was wrong," he started. "About everything. I was an idiot and cruel, and I don't deserve forgiveness. But I'm begging you, give me a chance. Let me be a father to Ophelia. Let me prove I can change." "Are you done?" "Mia, I'm homeless. I'm broke. Everyone I knew has turned their back on me. I can't get a job. I can't." His voice cracked. "I have nothing left." "Interesting," I said. "That's exactly what you wanted me to have. Scraps, remember? You said I could live on scraps." I was angry. "I didn't mean..." "You meant every word." I held up my phone, pulled up screenshots. "Here's you calling me lazy. Here's you saying I embarrassed you. Here's you telling Lauren I was a mistake. Want me to keep going? Because I have months of these." Tears streamed down his face. Real, ugly, desperate tears. "I'll do anything," he whispered. "I'll take any job. I'll work as a janitor. I'll clean toilets. Just let me back into your life. Please." Behind me, Ophelia made a tiny sound. That little kusai babies do when they're dreaming. Alex's eyes went to her. Hungry, longing. "She's beautiful," he whispered. "She looks like you." "I know. Can I just hold her? Once." "No." His face crumbled. I stepped closer. Close enough to smell the rain on him. The desperation. "You wanted me to live on scraps," I said softly. "You wanted me broken and small and grateful for whatever you decided to give. You wanted me to beg." "Mia, so now you know how it feels." I stepped back. "Your 4 minutes are up. Get out. Please. Get out of my home, Alex, and don't come back." He stood there, shaking, carnations dripping on my floor. Then he dropped them, turned, walked out. I closed the door, locked it, leaned against the wood, and exhaled. Ophelia woke, crying softly. I scooped her up, held her close. "It's okay, baby," I whispered. "We're okay. We're more than okay." Because here's what Alex never understood. I didn't need my father's money to survive. I needed it to win, and I'd won. Let me back up 8 weeks. Ophelia was 2 months old, sleeping through most nights, giving me my brain back. I'd been living in the penthouse, healing, bonding, learning how to be a mother. Dad visited every Sunday, brought bagels, held his granddaughter while I showered or napped or just sat in silence. One Sunday, he brought something else, a leather portfolio. "What's this?" I asked, bouncing Ophelia on my knee. Synergy Corps' quarterly reports, financial projections, strategic plans. He set it on the coffee table. "I need your opinion on something." "Dad, I haven't worked in months. I'm rusty." "You're brilliant. You were brilliant at 23, and you're brilliant now. Just read it. Tell me what you see." So I did, and what I saw made my blood sing. Alex had built something genuinely innovative. The core technology, predictive analytics for mid-market companies, was solid. The client base was growing. The revenue streams were diversifying. But the leadership? Terrible. Bloated executive salaries. Wasteful spending on vanity projects. Marketing budget that made no sense. They were burning money to look successful instead of actually being successful. "This company could be worth $500 million in 5 years," I said, looking up at Dad. "But not with this team. They're coasting. They think they've already won." Dad's smile was slow and dangerous. "So what would you do?" "Clean house. Cut the dead weight. Refocus on core competencies. Rebuild a culture around merit instead of ego." I paused. "Why are you asking me this?" Because I didn't buy this company to run it, baby girl. I bought it to give to you. I stared at him. What? You think I want to spend my retirement managing a tech startup? I have 50 other companies to oversee. But you, he leaned forward, you have the mind for this, the hunger, and more importantly, you have something to prove. To who? To yourself. You spent 3 years proving you could survive without me. Now prove you can thrive with me. He gestured to the portfolio. This company humiliated you. The man who built it tried to break you. So take it, rebuild it, make it yours. And every dollar it earns, every success it achieves, that's your victory. Not Alex's. Yours. Ophelia grabbed my finger, squeezed with her tiny hand. I thought about the woman I'd been in that coffee shop 18 months ago. Reading alone, self-sufficient, proud. I thought about the woman I'd been in that hospital bed, screaming, abandoned, broken. And I thought about the woman I wanted Ophelia to see when she looked at me. When do I start? I asked. That first day, I left Ophelia with a nanny dad had vetted personally, a former pediatric nurse named Dorothy, who sang Motown and smelled like lavender. I wore white, head to toe, symbolic rebirth, and all that. The office was in a converted warehouse in Tribeca. Exposed brick, standing desks, a kombucha bar in the break room. Very startup chic. Everyone stared as I walked through. They knew who I was. Dad had sent a company-wide email the night before. Effective immediately, Mia Whitmore has been appointed Chief Strategy Officer. She will report directly to me and will be leading our restructuring initiative. Please extend her your full cooperation. The whispers started before I reached the elevator. That's Hartwell's ex-wife. I heard she trapped him with a baby. Her dad bought the company just to give her a job. Nepotism at its finest. I smiled at a cluster of junior developers. They scattered like pigeons. Good. Let them be scared. After Dad introduced me, I set Ophelia's carrier on the table. She was awake, staring at the recessed lighting, making happy gurgling sounds. Brennan, the COO who'd sold his shares, cleared his throat. Ms. Whitmore, with all due respect, is it appropriate to bring an infant to a board meeting? Is it appropriate to waste $40,000 a month on a marketing agency that produces zero measurable ROI? I asked, flipping open the portfolio. Because that's what you've been doing for 8 months. Silence. Gentlemen, I've reviewed every financial document from the past 2 years. I've analyzed your client acquisition costs, your churn rates, your revenue per employee. And here's what I found. This company should be thriving. Instead, it's barely treading water. Want to know why? I clicked a button. The screen behind me lit up a presentation I'd built the night before, fueled by breast milk pumping breaks and rage. Slide 1, executive compensation. You're paying yourselves like you work at Google. You don't. You work at a Series B startup that hasn't hit profitability. Your salary should be tied to performance metrics, not entitlement. Faces around the table went red. Slide 2, operational efficiency. You have 4 project managers for a team of 20 developers. That's insane. You have redundancies everywhere. People doing the same job under different titles because you'd rather create new positions than admit you hired poorly. Ms. Whitmore, someone started. I'm not done. Slide 3, product roadmap. You've been chasing enterprise clients when your technology is built for mid-market. You're trying to compete with Oracle and Salesforce instead of dominating the niche you actually understand. It's ego-driven strategy, and it's killing you. I closed the laptop, picked up Ophelia, who'd started fussing. Here's what's going to happen. Half of you will be gone by end of quarter. The ones who stay will take pay cuts and earn their way back through performance bonuses. We're going to strip this company down to its foundation and rebuild it properly. And if you don't like it, I smiled, rocking my daughter gently. There's the door. No one moved. Good. I'll have individual meetings scheduled with each of you this week. Bring your metrics. Bring your value proposition. Because if you can't prove you're essential, you're gone. I walked out, leaving them sitting in stunned silence. Ophelia burped on my shoulder. That's my girl, I whispered. Over the next 6 weeks, I fired 23 people. Not cruelly, not vindicatively, just necessarily. The VP of sales who spent more time on golf courses and client calls? Gone. The chief innovation officer who hadn't innovated anything in 18 months? Gone. The marketing director with the useless agency contract? Gone along with the agency. Each time, I sat across him in my office, Alex's old office, which I'd redecorated in glass and steel implants, and explained exactly why they were being let go. Your performance metrics show declining productivity over 12 months. Your department has the highest budget and lowest output. You've been coasting on relationships built by people who no longer work here. Professional, documented, legal, some begged, some threatened to sue, some left quietly. I didn't lose sleep over any of them. What I did lose sleep over was the people I kept, the developers who'd been ignored, the junior strategists bursting with ideas no one had listened to, the customer service team that actually understood our clients. I promoted 5 people in those 6 weeks, gave them the budgets, the authority, the respect they'd earned, and I watched the company transform. Productivity up 18%, client retention up 22%, new contracts signed at a rate we hadn't seen in 2 years. Turns out, when you remove dead weight, ships sail faster. I was in my office, reviewing developer proposals, when Dorothy called. "Ms. Mia, there's a man here. Says he's Ophelia's father. Should I call security?" My blood went cold. "Where are you?" "The park. We were just..." "Stay where you are. Don't let him near her." "I'm coming now." I ran. Literally ran 6 blocks in heels, heart hammering. I found them on a bench near the fountain. Dorothy holding Ophelia protectively. Alex standing 10 feet away, hands raised like he was approaching a wild animal. He looked worse than before. Thinner, unshaven, wearing clothes that didn't fit right. Probably thrifted. "Mia," he said when he saw me. "I just wanted to see her. I wasn't going to touch her. I swear I just..." "You just what? Stalk my nanny? Follow my daughter?" I was walking by. I saw them. I recognized a stroller from. He stopped. From the photos I've seen online. Right, because I'd started posting. Not for attention, for myself. Little snapshots of motherhood. Ophelia's first smile. Her grabbing her toes. Me looking exhausted and happy. Alex had been watching. Of course he had. "You need to leave," I said quietly, taking Ophelia from Dorothy. "Now." "She's my daughter, too." "Biologically? Yes. Legally? We'll see what the court says about your parental rights when they hear you abandon her at birth. I was stupid. I was the worst kind of fool. But I'm her father, Mia. You can't just erase me." I stepped closer. Close enough to smell the cheap soap, the desperation. "Watch me," I whispered. "You gave up every right to her when you texted me divorce papers while I was in labor. You don't get to claim her now because you're lonely and broken. She's not a consolation prize. I'm not trying to." "What job do you have, Alex?" He blinked. "What?" "Job. Employment. How do you plan to pay child support? Where are you living? Do you have stable housing? Income? Anything to offer this child besides trauma?" His face crumbled. "I'm trying. I'm applying everywhere, but your father..." "My father, nothing. You destroyed your own reputation. You abandoned your wife and newborn baby publicly. You posted about it on social media. No one wants to hire you because you're a liability and everyone knows it. So what am I supposed to do? Just disappear?" I looked at my daughter, her perfect little face, her eyes, Alex's eyes, staring up at me with complete trust. And I made a decision I both regret and stand by. "You want to be in her life?" I asked. "Earn it." "How?" "Get a job. Any job. Keep it for 6 months. Get stable housing. Go to therapy. Prove you're capable of being a functioning adult. Then we'll talk about supervised visitation." 6 months? You abandoned us without a second thought. 6 months is generous. He stared at me. For a moment, I thought I saw the man I'd met in that coffee shop. Before the ego. Before the cruelty. "Okay," he whispered. "Okay, I'll do it. Don't do it for me. Do it for her. He nodded, looked at Ophelia one more time, and walked away. Dorothy exhaled. That man is broken. Good, I said, but my hands were shaking. Months 7 through 9 were a blur. Synergy Core exploded. The refocused strategy worked. Mid-market clients loved us. We weren't trying to be everything to everyone. We were being exactly what they needed. Revenue doubled, then tripled. Tech publications started writing about our dramatic turnaround. Bloomberg ran a piece. How a new mother saved a failing startup. I did interviews. Brought Ophelia to some of them. Let people see that you could be a mother and a CO in training. That these identities weren't contradictions. The photos went viral. Me in a blazer, holding Ophelia in a board meeting. Me pumping breast milk while on an investor call. Me, exhausted and triumphant, and unapologetically both. Young women started reaching out. You're my hero. You show me it's possible. Thank you for being real. I didn't feel heroic. I felt tired and driven and fueled by spite. But I'd take it. Month 10, Dad called me into his personal office downtown. Not the Synergy Core office. His real office. The one with Picasso's on the wall. And a view that cost more than most people's houses. Sit, he said. I sat, Ophelia in my lap as always. He slid a folder across his desk. Thicker than the last one. What's this? Your future. I opened it. Stock certificates. Legal documents. Transfers of ownership. And one sentence highlighted in yellow. Upon completion of ownership transfer, Mia Evangeline Whitmore will become the majority shareholder of Synergy Core Analytics, controlling 51% of all outstanding shares. I looked up. Dad, this is yours. You've earned it. The board agrees. Brennan agrees. Even the people you fired agree. You took a sinking ship and turned it into a yacht. This company is worth $200 million now. By this time next year, $500 million, easily. But you bought it. You invested. I bought it for you. I always intended to give it to you. I just needed you to prove you could handle it. He smiled. You proved it. Ophelia grabbed the papers, crumpled them in her tiny fist. She knows a good deal when she sees one. Dad laughed. I was crying. Happy tears. Overwhelmed tears. Tears of disbelief. There's one condition, Dad said. What? You take the CEO title. Officially. No more Chief Strategy Officer. You run this company outright. Dad, I'm 27. I have a 6-month-old baby. People will say, let them say it. You've been running it already. Make it official. I signed the papers that afternoon. The press release went out the next morning. Mia Whitmore named CEO of Synergy Core Analytics. Becomes majority shareholder in historic restructuring. My phone exploded. Congratulations. Interview requests. Think pieces about nepotism and privilege and working mothers. I ignored all of it, except one message. From Alex. I saw the news. Congratulations. You deserve it. I mean that. I stared at that message for a long time. Then I blocked his number. Month 11. Almost Ophelia's first birthday. I was planning her party. Something small, family and close friends, maybe some colleagues who become friends. When building security called, Ms. Whitmore, there's an Alex Hartwell here. Says he has an appointment. My blood went cold. I don't have any appointments scheduled. He's insisting. Says you told him 6 months. Says it's been 6 months. Had it? I counted backward. Damn. It had. Send him up? I sighed. 5 minutes later, Alex walked into my office. He looked different. Better. Clean shaven. Decent clothes. Haircut. Eyes clear. Thank you for seeing me, he said. I didn't stand. Didn't smile. You have 5 minutes. I did what you asked. I got a job. Junior analyst at a consulting firm. It's not glamorous, but it's steady. I've been there 4 months now. Just got promoted. I found an apartment, studio in Queens, but it's mine. And I've been going to therapy. Twice a week. He pulled out his phone, showed me a calendar full of appointments. I'm doing the work, Mia. Why? Because I want to know my daughter. And because he swallowed hard. Because I need to be better. Not for you. Not even just for her. For me. I studied him, looking for the lie, the manipulation. All I saw was exhaustion and hope. Supervised visitation, I said. 1 hour once a week, with a social worker present. If you're late even once, if you miss even one session, it stops. I'll take it. And Alex, she doesn't call you Dad. Not yet. Not until you earn that title. Pain flashed across his face. Understood. I'll have my lawyer draw up the arrangements. He nodded, started to leave. Stopped. Mia? What? I'm sorry. I know it doesn't mean anything now. I know I can't undo what I did, but I need you to hear it. I'm sorry. For all of it. I looked at him. This man who destroyed me and inadvertently made me. I know, I said quietly. Now leave. He left. I sat in my office, the Manhattan skyline stretching before me, and felt nothing. No triumph. No satisfaction. Just tired. Ophelia's first birthday party was perfect. Pastel balloons. Smash cake shaped like a unicorn. 20 people who actually loved her, not just showed up for appearances. Dad gave her a savings bond worth $50,000. For college, or her own startup, whichever comes first. Dorothy gave her a handmade quilt. My lawyer, Vivian, gave her a tiny leather briefcase with Future CO embroidered on it. Alex wasn't there. I hadn't invited him, but he sent a gift. A children's book, The Giving Tree. Inside, a note for Ophelia. I'm working on becoming someone worthy of reading this to you someday. Love, your father. I cried reading it. Then I put it on the shelf and went back to the party. 2 weeks after the party, I signed the final papers. Synergy Core Analytics was officially mine. 51%. Majority shareholder. CO. My name on the door, the letterhead, the stock certificates. The company was now valued at $420 million. My personal net worth, stock plus salary plus bonuses, put me at just over $200 million. At 27. Single mother. Self-made? Debatable. I'd had my father's backing. But I'd done the work. Every firing, every hire, every strategy session, every 3 a.m. feeding followed by a 6 a.m. investor call. That was mine. I called a press conference. Small one. Just the key publications. I want to make an announcement. I said, Ophelia on my hip as always. Effective next quarter, Synergy Core will be launching a new initiative, the Hartwell Fellowship. Reporters scribbled. We'll be offering 10 full scholarships annually to single mothers pursuing degrees in STEM fields. Full tuition, plus a living stipend, plus free childcare. Because no woman should have to choose between her education and her child. Will this be named after your ex-husband? Someone asked. I smiled. No. It's named after my daughter, Ophelia Hartwell, so that her name is associated with helping women, not abandoning them. The room erupted in applause. I saw one reporter, young woman, probably 24, wiping her eyes. After the conference, she approached. Ms. Whitmore? Thank you. I'm a single mom. I dropped out of college when I got pregnant. This program, it's everything. I gave her my card. Apply. We want people like you. She left crying happy tears. I left feeling for the first time like maybe I was doing something that mattered beyond revenge. 6 months later, Alex kept his word. Showed up every week for supervised visits. Never late. Never drunk. Never inappropriate. He read to Ophelia. Played with her. Made her laugh. The social worker reported positive progress. So I expanded it. 2 hours twice a week. He cried when I told him. Thank you, he whispered. Don't thank me. Thank her. She deserves a father. I'm giving you the chance to be one. We're not friends. We're not anything. But we're civil. Co-parents. Trying. Some days I hate him. Some days I feel nothing. Some days I almost feel bad for him. Mostly I feel grateful. Because if he hadn't abandoned me, I wouldn't have called my father. If I hadn't called my father, I wouldn't have this company. If I didn't have this company, I wouldn't have found out what I'm capable of. He thought leaving me would destroy me. Instead, it made me. Last month, I signed the papers making me the largest individual shareholder in Synergy Corp. 53% after acquiring additional shares from retiring board members. The company is now valued at $600 million. Forbes called me the youngest self-made female CEO in tech. I let them run with it, even though self-made is generous. Ophelia is 18 months old now, walking, talking, brilliant. She has Alex's eyes and my stubborn chin. She'll grow up knowing her father made terrible choices, but try to fix them. She'll grow up knowing her mother was knocked down and got back up. She'll grow up knowing her grandfather is a shark in a modest suit. And she'll grow up never, ever wondering if she's worth something. Because she'll see it. In the business. In the fellowship. In the life we built from the ashes of my worst mistake. Alex sent me a message last week. I unblocked him for co-branding logistics. I saw the latest valuation. You're incredible, Mia. I hope you know that. I didn't respond. Because I don't need him to tell me what I'm worth. I already know. Some men think they can break a woman and walk away richer. They forget, quiet women often have the loudest backup. And the smartest women, we don't get mad. We get equity. So here's my question for you. Have you ever had someone underestimate you, only to prove them spectacularly wrong? Drop your story in the comments. I want to hear it. And if the story resonated with you, if it made you feel something, do me a favor. Hit that like button. Share it with someone who needs to hear that they're stronger than they know. And subscribe for more stories about ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Because the best revenge isn't destroying someone. It's becoming so successful they become irrelevant. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.